All right, hi, I'm Bob Croner. I'm really excited and glad to see you show tonight. Take time out of your busy schedules. This is a pretty good indication that we got some folks in town that are on the mission that we're sharing. What is that mission? The invitation today was to ensure the revised 2020 assessment plan announced by the POA board on November 21st will achieve a quorum vote and a yes outcome. That's why we're here tonight. What can we do to help make sure this mission happens? So thank you for coming. All right. There may be an elephant in the room, so I thought we'd kick it off by asking Tom Judson one question tonight. Many POA members have asked why the POA board and its legal advisors are confident that the board's vote and decision to go out for another assessment increase vote immediately is legal, and if it complies with the declaration. Let's clear the air, because if we're going to do this work together, let's make sure that we really can do this. So this is what we've learned.
Good afternoon. If you go to the declaration, you go to section 10, you'll be able to find the wording. There is a 3-year prohibition to go for another vote if an assessment increase was approved. So if the assessment increase had been approved, there's a 3-year moratorium. Since the assessment increase was not approved, there is no moratorium at all. So this would be a legal vote.
Okay. Wow.
Thanks, Tom. So there we have it. This is a good thing. We can do this. Okay, the next step, I've asked just a few representatives within our community to share their thoughts about why they live in Bella Vista and how they feel about this whole assessment vote process. And the first person we were going to ask to speak tonight was Stevie Lamar. She's been a resident since 1996. Unfortunately, Stevie does not feel well this evening, and she asked if we would share her thoughts, so I'm going to read her thoughts to you, and then we'll have our next speaker. She says, "We have 2 restaurants that are beautifully updated, serve very good food, and offer friendly service. Can we maintain that quality without an increase? Doubtful. We have golf courses and pro shops that are better than they have ever been. Same question as number 1, same answer. Fitness facilities are well equipped and staffed. Branchwood specifically is, for its size, state of the art. Again, same question and answer as number 1. A failure to pass an assessment increase will undoubtedly result in staff cuts and maintenance reduction, which will be followed by rundown conditions and frustrated members, and eventually leading to closure of amenities. Loss of quality and loss of amenities can only lead to falling property values and lack of interest in building in or moving to Bella Vista Village. This would be tragic, given the most explosive growth throughout Northwest Arkansas." And then finally she says, "We came to Bella Vista because of the beauty, the low cost of living, and of course the golf courses. But if I was suddenly unable to ever play golf again, I would stand here with the same message. If our village is to survive with the current amenities, we must get this assessment increase passed. It's way past time to do this." So thanks, Stevie, for sharing your thoughts tonight. Next, we'd like to hear from Katie Henkel.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I am Katie Hinkle, and my husband and I, Bud, moved here 25 years ago. And we checked all different places. We checked California, Arizona, we checked Florida, and we decided on Bella Vista. We knew very, very little about Bella Vista other than they had golf courses. We were a golfer. And so we settled, we bought a house in Lake Windsor, and we started using all the amenities. Of course, they had the country club open, they had the yacht club open, they had they didn't have the trails at that point, but we used all the amenities. And we've been here so long, our lifestyle has changed a little bit. We no longer golf 4 or 5 days a week, but we use the other amenities. I find it unthinkable that everything goes up in price except the assessment. When we came, it was $14 a month. Now think about that, $14 a month. We had people come down from Iowa to come visit us, and they eventually moved down here because they couldn't believe we had what we had for that price. We'd never heard of an assessment in Iowa. We lived in the city. We didn't know about assessments. We feel that we were both taught by our parents, when you go someplace or do something, make it better when you leave. We hope we do that with our heritage, that we fully retire here in Bella Vista. We want to make it better than we found it. And we want to be part of the group that says we helped pass the assessment for 2020. So let's all get together on that.
Terrific, thank you. Dave and Julie Armstrong?
I think Julie's going to leave the talking to me. I'm Dave Armstrong. So happy to be with all of you. Thank you all for coming out. It's great to be with friends and friendly neighbors. If you get on social media, you think everybody here kicks their dog. And so it's just great to be in a room full of people that really want to see Bella Vista not only be where we are now, but improve for the future. And I love that. You know, when I first was announcing for the Kansas City Royals back in 1993, after a few weeks into the season, my broadcast partner, Paul Splittorff, asked me, what do you think? And of course, I was living the dream, you know, broadcasting Major League Baseball, something I had dreamt about when growing up as a little kid in Detroit. But there was one guy on the Royals team, one of the players, and I won't mention who, he was just tough to be around. He's one of these guys, and maybe you've met them, where when they wake up in the morning, they have no chance to have a good day. And that's the way this guy was. And I said, well, Split, everybody on the team is great except this one guy. He says, you know, there's 24 other guys on the roster. Ignore the one, concentrate on the 24. And I think it's great that we concentrate on the people that love living here. And I think that's one of the things that we're doing by coming out with a vote. The mandate of the people was, the people that live here, is we want to see our amenities improve. We want to see our golf courses, our lakes, our gun ranges, our trails, all of the things, the reason that we come here to live here, and the reason that we love being a part of Bella Vista, we want to see it not only good, but great. And that's one of the reasons that I'm in full support of what we're doing or trying to do here with this assessment. Now you already see the other side saying, don't vote. In my mind, they've already waved the white flag. They know they're not going to get the votes because the feedback is that it was those large people that own a lot of lots, unimproved land, that kind of said no to this. Well, they're going to vote yes, I would think. I mean, the new assessment is $0 for them, so they're going to vote yes. I think the naysayers are already saying, we know we're not going to win because the people that live here, most of us, we want to see this passed because we see the value. As a realtor, I can tell you that when I deal with clients that are coming in, I just dealt with one this last week from San Diego. They cannot believe the value that we have in our community for so little a price. And they look at the assessment and they think it's a joke. Well, what do you get for that? You can't do anything on 24, even $37 a month in their mind. So they think it's obviously something that they want to do, but guess what? They're waiting to buy until they see how this vote comes out. Because they don't want to be a part of a community that's not going forward, but going backward. And so you see, the people that are saying no, if there's anybody like that in this room, and that's fine, if you are, I want to say this to you. It's not about golf. It's not even about the lakes. It's not about any of that. If you don't use any of the amenities, it doesn't matter. If you don't go to the restaurants, you don't play golf, you don't boat, you don't go to the gun range, you don't hike on the trails, you don't do any of the things that are offered, the fitness centers, the pools, the beach. You don't do any of that, it still doesn't matter. I wrote a letter to the editor that was published, I think, this last week. And in it, it's very simply this. We are a small community. A community where our factory, our big business in Bella Vista, it's the POA, it's the amenities that we have in Bella Vista. That's what keeps this place growing. That's what keeps people coming from San Diego and Wisconsin and Minnesota and all over this land. The reason they come to Bella Vista is because of our amenities. If those amenities diminish, not just necessarily go away, but if they just diminish, the value goes down. The value of your property. So if you're a naysayer and you say, well, I don't use the amenities, well, you use your home, and your home value is going to go down if the amenities go down. It just will. It's just common sense. If you look at any other small town that is built around, say, one big business, one factory, and that factory closes, guess what? The town dies. It shrivels up and goes. If we allow the no vote to go through, then we're going to lose this wonderful opportunity that we have. We're at a crossroads in Bella Vista right now. This is a time in history where we have a chance to move forward as a community. And I think it's very important that we make sure we get the vote out. The quorum is going to be the big issue. So we've got to do whatever we can to volunteer, to get on the phones, to talk to neighbors, to do whatever you can to make sure people understand this is about our family values, our way of life. This is why we're here. This is why we want to be Bella Vistans. Thank you all very much.
Before Charlie starts, I just want to say that without his support,
Mike.
just want to introduce Charlie and say that this may have been an idea just to pull us all together, but it takes more than just an idea, and I want to personally thank Charlie. He's put a lot of effort and good thought into this. So.
First of all, thank you all for coming. It's terrific to see a great turnout for this important event. I want to share with you a bit of history and our experience and memories of Bella Vista. When Liz and I were married in Fayetteville in 1978, at that time, if you were looking for a place to celebrate a special occasion or impress an out-of-town visitor, you took them to the Sunday brunch at the Bella Vista Country Club. White tablecloths, men in suits and ties, women in dresses. It was a very elegant location. This was a time of Bella Vista's prosperity and success. In the 1970s, the Bella Vista Country Club was the site of the National College Football Coaches Annual Golf Tournament, hosted by the University of Arkansas coach Frank Brawls. Friday night Friday night seafood buffet at the country club was legendary in the area. We moved to Wisconsin in 1981, but returned to Bella Vista often when we would travel back to the area to visit relatives. Our relatives were Bella Vista property owners, so we were able to use the recreation amenities as guests. In 1992, we bought my parents' lot in Bella Vista and became unimproved property owners. During our trips from Wisconsin, we stayed in vacation rental townhomes, played in the swimming pools, enjoyed the recreation facilities and golf courses, and had many enjoyable vacations here. Because we enjoyed Bella Vista so much, we bought a townhouse in 1997, so we would have a permanent lodging for our frequent trips from Wisconsin. Our townhouse was on Lake Windsor, so we had a stairway and dock built and bought a pontoon boat to enjoy the lake. It was terrific. Life was good. Since 1992, we have paid POA assessments which sustain the operation and upkeep of POA amenities. Our assessment payments, along with the payments from many thousands of other non-resident lot owners, enabled the permanent residents of Bella Vista to enjoy the recreation amenities at a very nominal cost. Assessment payments by POA members to pay the cost and operation of the recreation amenities is the original financial concept for the development of Bella Vista Village. Our declaration requires this financial structure. Assessment payments pay for amenities. Without an increase in assessment, User fees will never pay the cost of amenities. The proposed assessment plan is structured along this original concept, so we're going back to 1965. Since the creation of Bella Vista Village in 1965, there have been only 4 successful assessment increase votes. In 1965, the original assessment was $5 per month. There was a $2 a month increase approved in 1974, a $2.50 a month increase approved in 1997, a $4.50 per month increase in 1982, allocated over 3 years, and the last assessment increase approved in 2001. This established the current 2-tier assessment structure with a $24 per month assessment for improved lots and $16 a month for unimproved lots. So in the last 38 years, there have only been 2 successful assessment increase votes. No wonder our user fees keep increasing each year to keep up with inflation. Clearly, the maintenance and operation of our amenities is unsustainable without an assessment increase. As we got closer to retirement, we decided that Bella Vista was our ideal retirement location. During a trip to Bella Vista in 2002, we found and purchased our current home. We became permanent residents of Bella Vista in 2006 when we retired. The same year, Pinnacle Mall in Rogers opened, ironically. We have seen so many changes and improvement in the Northwest Arkansas area in the 13 years we have lived here. And we'd like to see our Bella Vista community enjoy the same benefits that other communities in the area are experiencing. Keeping the POA facilities up to date, well maintained, and attractive not only benefits all of us, but contributes to attracting additional residents and guests to our community. Bella Vista was developed as a recreation community. This is who we are. Our recreation amenities are the reason that most of us moved here. The Scottsdale Pub and Patio, Branchwood Recreation Center, Bella Vista Country Club Pro Shot and BB Bar and Grill, and converting the old tired yacht club into this wonderful Lakepoint restaurant and event center are examples of the significant and necessary improvements made to POA facilities over the last several years. Without an assessment increase, we can't continue to maintain and improve our amenities. We have wonderful memories of this place and want Bella Vista to continue to prosper so others have the same opportunities we had in enjoying this unique location. Thanks again, Bob, for taking the initiative to organize this meeting.
All right, well, that represented a few of us, and I'm sure that if we had the time, we could hear your story, your reason for living here, but I'll bet at the end, it really wouldn't be too different than from what we had just heard from our representative section that presented their ideas. Yeah, that's why I moved here too with my wife Denise. All right. So how do we plan to achieve a quorum and approval of the assessment increase? This is where all you guys come in now. What can we do? Charlie, help me out here. What are some of the steps that we can cover here?
On each table is a volunteer sign-up sheet. So if people are interested in helping out, we would be more than happy for you to sign up, leave the sheet on the table, we'll pick them up, and then we will make arrangements to have someone contact you and identify what you're interested in doing and how you can help with this effort. Tammy Lloyd is here, and she has an outline of available time slots for people if they're interested in making telephone calls. So if you're particularly interested in that activity, that would be much appreciated. And Tammy has spreadsheets that show when we have availability for people.
Tammy, if they're not able to make that decision tonight to sign up and pick a time and a slot, where would they go next to inform, hey, I want to help, but I couldn't make the decision today? Should they come by the POA offices, or?
They can call or email me. My number is on the website, or it's 855-5012.
Hi, guys.
You know, yeah.
It's on the back of this sheet also. This sheet with the little arrow on the top.
Okay, so on the back of the sheet is my information, I'm told. And it'll have the spelling, yes, it's on there. It has the correct spelling of my name. So you can email me or call me and I will get you on the schedule for a time slot to call if you don't want to connect this evening.
Thanks, Tammy. Thank all of you. I've already heard, hey, where's that sheet that has Tammy's name on it? If you, does your table have enough? And your table? All right, I'm gonna start over here with Dave, and then we'll pass these sheets around. If there are not enough sheets, let me know, and we'll make sure we get you some before the day's out.
That's right. I haven't heard anything in here that talks about what the POA believes is necessary, one, to get quorum. Now, Lakepoint, you're gonna call the same people that already said yes. So how do you get the unapproved guys to step up and do it? Just assuming they're gonna vote yes is not a good answer. I don't believe that's a good answer. I don't buy that. And then the other question is, I still don't think we've sold them on the true benefit of the increase for the unimproved lot folks. Property value thing is an argument, but I don't think it's a great argument, because if I'm an older person, which I am, and I'm looking, and I'm not doing the amenity thing, and you're talking about property increases, well, that means there's a lot of stuff that goes with a property increase too. Your taxes go up, your utility bills are going to go up, everything is going to go rise as the property values increase as well. So that argument, in my mind, is a moot point in many of these things. Finally, I don't see a lot of neighborhood. I didn't see near the neighborhood participation in this. Let's just pick on the signs. I saw just a few signs hanging out when you go through the neighborhood. I mean, you got a few in the corner. Obviously, we're put there by POA member or POA staff. I'd see many in people's yards, and whenever I saw one in the yard, somebody stuck a no sign in front of it. So I mean, if we're going to play as a group, my thinking is they provide the signs for us, man. Let's stick them in every yard that wants to do it. I mean, really show the true support to this activity. If not, we're blowing in the wind again.
Thanks, Mike. To answer your first question, unapproved lot owners that own multiple lots. If we're gonna make one phone call, we will have individuals who will be well versed and prepared to make the call so that we'll have the best outcome possibility.
How many lots is that, one individual, one corporation? I hear 800, 1,600, 2,000, 20. Anybody know?
Can I just say yes? I don't know.
There's a corporation that owns a lot of lots.
Cooper is out of the business. There are corporations that bought for investment reasons and otherwise, and the suspicion is that if you own 100 lots and we're gonna raise the value $2, that extra increase, they probably said no. But if we go back without an increase for the unimproved lot, and then ask them, what do you think? And then we give them a little extra explanation. We're hoping that that company, that individual, the corporations, that at that point they're gonna vote yes. So there will be an effort to identify those companies or individuals that own multiple lots, and then have our best effort with our best people make that call to those select groups. And I gotta believe, I mean, if you own 100 lots for investment purpose, and the assessment passes, and we continue to see improvements like Lakepoint, it's a no-brainer. That's kind of how my mind started on this whole thing when I'm sitting there going, how could it fail? It didn't fail, by the way. The majority of the votes returned were yes. Unfortunately, it was 150 people short, or property votes short of the 51% or greater that is needed. So, doing a little math, if there's more than 150 unimproved lots that had voted no, that would change to a yes, but possibly a couple thousand out there, that could be the swing difference. So I hope that answers how we address the multiple lot owner. So we'll have select special people prepared to make that call.
Can I just answer one thing on the property tax? You were saying that if the home value increases, the property tax increase. You're talking about especially for elderly people. As you know, in Arkansas at age 65, that freezes. So that is only goes up according to a mill levy, it doesn't go up according to assessment.
However, as having lived in an area where property values did increase, all the other stuff associated with property also started gaining in. Just look at what Centerton's increased the cost of the water department, because there's more financial resources there. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, I'm just simply saying it doesn't make a lot of sense.
So you want to move to a community where property values decline?
No, I want to live in.
I'm just trying to get this straight.
I want to live in a community.
All right.
Where the property values are equivalent to what value is.
Okay.
I voted yes for this.
And I think you're making our point though, that when you're talking about other costs, utilities, electric bills, things like that, same thing applies to the POA. Those costs have also gone up for them, and yet their budget has not. And so, you know, that's one of the main reasons why a yes vote is necessary, because costs have gone up, right? Electricity costs and utility costs and everything else has gone up, and their salary has remained the same, if you will. So.
I'll just add 10 cents, since I've been here 6 years, and I can still remember what my personal property taxes and others in Omaha, Nebraska were. And I probably would have to live to be 500 or 600 years old before Bella Vista even gets close to what I once paid. And where I lived didn't have swimming. They had great schools, but we didn't have all the amenities that we have here. And yeah, this little slice of heaven for me still. I'm very passionate about it. Gary?
Requirements for this second vote, are they the same as on the first? Quorum, percentage pass, is it exactly the same?
Because this is a new assessment plan, the requirements are identical. 51% or greater will have the vote pass through, and we need a quorum. That's our goal. So let's get the yes votes. Let's hit our neighbors, phone campaign. You know, Mike, you also asked, well, what can we tell? I was involved 2 years ago when we had an assessment plan, 3 years ago? In 16. And I remember what the training was, ask people to vote. What's different with this vote, when we ask you to call, I think we're all in agreement. Let's just not ask them to call, but let's talk favorably about a yes vote result. And if someone wants to spend a few minutes and say, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence. Well, you can do things like comparing, well, I'm not, if you came from, you hear somebody and they say, well, I live somewhere else. Well, did you support the schools you came from? Sure. Well, I know, like, when my kids graduated, I loved the Millard School District. We had great facilities for those schools, and I still voted when the schools needed things to help for the next. I passed it forward because somebody before me helped build that school. I came to Bella Vista because really old people like Charlie, that came here in a wagon and 3 horses, and Ma said, we're setting up roots here, Charlie. But back then, people worked hard to build the facilities. They were proud to go to the country club. Well, they did that for us too. Part of me wants to pass that on because I'm proud of us. I know a lot of you. It's hard to believe in 6 years how many people you can meet. What a community. So I want to pass it on to you, the younger, other people as well. Okay, hand in the back. Let's try a few more and then we'll move forward. That's no lady.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
She's a nice lady.
Number one, my question is, what I'd like to know is how many votes will it take to have a quorum? And also, has anybody thought about using Holiday Island as an example of what happens when you do nothing? That, and plus the fact that the Cooper development down by Hot Springs, their fees are twice what ours are. So I'm just trying to think outside the box and come up with, you know, I have seen some of those social media comments. They don't like me, but, you know, I'm just
They are our neighbors though, so we will be respectful. One of my favorite things that I did read was one guy that wrote in and said, heck, I spend more on iced tea every month. What's this all really about? It's not the money, it's other things. So I'm going to sidetrack for a second. Today is about the mission, a quorum and a yes result, okay? Now, if there are other issues, in the business I came from, we had problems within our company. And our message back was, what's wrong? I can't help you if you don't tell me what's wrong. So maybe in early spring 2020, we can reconvene our neighbors and our groups, and let's talk about some of the issues that we're hearing out there, because there may be some merit to it. But the assessment and this plan, independent of everything else, this is wonderful. Yeah, I want this to pass, but I also want to make sure that if there are things that we could be doing within us as a community in our POA, let's put it together and present it to the board. I mean, these are people that are volunteering to help out and run our community too, but they can't read our minds. So maybe I'll be involved if there's others that also want to participate, and then early in 2020, let's put something together, find out what that list is, and address those things too. And hopefully by then we'll celebrate, maybe it's with iced tea or something else, but with the yes vote, we might be able to use one of these nice facilities to meet and discuss. You had asked about some other places. Charlie did some research, and it's a few years old. It was from 2015. And he compared other communities near us and what they have with their, I'll get back over in 1 second. What do you get for your money? And while this is 4-year-old information, I think it's worth sharing since it was asked.
We pulled this together for just reference purposes. These are local either homeowners associations or property owners associations in the area that have a assessment fee. And what we tried to do is determine what you got for that assessment fee. A number of these are just local neighborhoods. Turtle Creek Place in Rogers had a $60 assessment with no amenities. Village Grove subdivision in Rogers, $100 assessment, no amenities. Kensington property owners in Bentonville, $150 annual assessment, no amenities. Heathrow neighborhood in Rogers, $150 annual assessment, no amenities. Wildwood property owners in Bentonville, $175 annual assessment. They have a pavilion and a pool. Woods Creek property owners in Bentonville, $400 annual assessment, pavilion and a pool. Quail Ridge homeowners, $400 assessment, clubhouse, pool, and playground. Oxford Ridge in Bentonville, $440, clubhouse, pool, and playground. Bella Vista, if we look at our assessment increase, $444 annual assessment for improved property owners. And we all know we have a bunch of amenities. Lockmore Club POA in Bentonville, $500 annual assessment. Pool, tennis, and basketball. Angel Falls POA in Bentonville, $600 annual assessment. Pool, pavilion, basketball. Chapel Hill POA in Rogers, $750 annual assessment. They have a pool. And St. Valerie Downs POA in Bentonville, $750, and they have a landscaped park. So in terms of where we are with our assessment and the amenities we provide, I mean, there are a number of other neighborhoods just in Northwest Arkansas that have annual assessments with virtually no amenity benefits to their homeowners.
Thanks for that research. Does that answer what you were asking? Great. Well, the last vote we had, in round numbers, 18,000 return votes and 18,500, and that achieved about 53%. So our goal would be 18,000 votes and 51% or more of those votes with a yes result. So, yeah, we need everybody to vote again. Let's see what happens. I did see a hand.
When we talk to these people, and what do we say to them when they say we should transfer this all to the city? It should be common sense, but a lot of people think that we could transfer, these assets that we're talking about to the city. And a lot of them are moving from Bentonville or Rogers, or they're moving in here to work. They're still working, and they're used to living in cities where there is no village like we have. And, they would just as soon it be a city-owned facilities as opposed to a village. And they're not making a distinction, and they don't see the need for a village like we do. They just as soon it be a city. What do we say to those folks? It should be common sense, but what we're saying to them is not working.
We have an expert that can answer that.
I am a city council member, but I'm not speaking for the city council. There's a number of things involved in can't the city take over the amenities. Number one, the amenities are currently property tax paying. So if the city took over any of our property or amenities, they would no longer be paying property taxes, which would mean the school district, the county, and the city would have a financial negative. The city as a municipality cannot legally collect homeowners dues. The city could not run any of these amenities at a loss because it would bankrupt the city. That's why they're amenities. They don't make a profit. That's why we pay homeowners fees. The city could not collect POA dues. It's not legal for a municipality to do that. So in addition to the financial negative for the school district, county, and city, the city could not run any of the amenities. It just could not happen.
That's not convincing people, because people have recreation, or cities have recreational center, they have,
But
golf courses.
those are cities that have a significant tax base.
Right. But see,
which
you gotta
covers
convince
the
them that
cost of all of
You gotta
that.
raise the taxes.
You could not raise the city of
I know that. I mean,
taxes
it's
high
common
enough.
sense, but we're not convincing people that it can't happen.
I think we're saying the same thing in a different way. Said differently, what a good deal we have in Bella Vista with our amenities at the prices we're paying, because if it was a city property opportunity for us to use, instead of paying $1,200, you'd be paying $3,600 probably in property taxes. So it's a good argument to explain to people why it's important to be a yes.
Just to maybe Liz Teal, maybe to answer what you can say, this is what I mentioned at a board meeting, that the members who support POA go away conveniently ignore the language of the declaration, which requires an affirmative vote of 2/3 of the members to change the declaration and dissolve the POA. In the history of the POA, there have been just a few instances when a vote of the members exceeded 50%. It would be virtually impossible to obtain the vote of 2/3 of the members, much less have all of those members vote to amend the declaration and dissolve the POA and agree on how the POA assets would be liquidated under the declaration requirements.
Well, I don't think that argument will work either, because the people know that assets were transferred to the city, the police department, the fire department. You wouldn't have to dissolve the POA, you just transfer the assets. The POA would just be dormant.
Okay, another thing that I wrote down is sort of what Linda Lloyd was saying, the city council member, that I've heard that it would take an increase of about 27 millage for the city to maintain, and the city is limited to a maximum of 10 mills. So like Linda Lloyd said, we could transfer them to the city and then they're gone.
I think the bottom line of what we're hearing is, if the POA starts to erode, our amenities go away. If we were hoping that the city or anybody else could take over this, the amenities go away. So we have two choices. We vote yes with a quorum result, and we continue to see things improve as they have the last couple of years. Thank you, Tom, for the improvements, and the board members and all the people that were involved with that. And the option is, and you know what, maybe there are enough people that live in Bella Vista today that really don't want the amenities, and if that's the case, we'll find out with this next vote. And if that's what people really want, and turn it into a little bedroom community, and I don't know, other than I guess we could walk and hike and do a few things, but we won't have the pools, we won't have so many of the things that we're using now. So it's up to us. Sure. One moment, please.
Hi, I'm Julie Armstrong. My husband is the eloquent speaker in our house here. I work in Bentonville, and I work with people, younger people who live in Bella Vista, because they looked at Pea Ridge, they looked at Centerton, and they kind of like to do the bike trails, so they chose Bella Vista. But they're not totally engaged in the rest of Bella Vista life like we are. And I'm sure they like driving by the golf courses, that's fine. But I can't help but think when I talk to these colleagues of mine that they need a little bit, they need more reason to vote yes. And what I'm wondering, to cut to the chase here, is it possible for us when we send out the ballots, or email the ballots, however it's going out, can we put like an FAQ on there and answer that question about, why can't this just go to the city? And we come up with some very concise language in a paragraph to tell them why that's not going to work. And we just hit all of the major points one by one by one, and they have it right there in the envelope that they're opening. And because there are a lot of people who are not as fully engaged, and it's easiest for them to vote no or to not vote at all. So let's make it easy for them to say, oh, what the heck, it's only a few more dollars. So that's my suggestion.
Excellent suggestion. Yeah, the key is, while I'm walking up front, we need to deliver the message. We need to be armed with good facts, good reasons, and most importantly, reach out to so many people. We'll get back out here in 1 second.
First of all, I wanted to really thank Charlie for putting this together. This is a grassroots effort, and this is the only way that the assessment increase is going to get approved is through everybody in here in the room. I want you to grab your sheet real quick. They put down some information that's really important. Go to the bottom on that one sheet. What can you do to pass this plan? These are the most important steps. We need as many of you to make calls as possible to get out the vote. With the last vote, our volunteers made 17,000 calls, and that's the main reason why we were able to reach quorum. While you're leaving, we have a sign-up sheet. If you didn't sign up on your table, there is a sign-up sheet with exact dates and times at the front entryway. It's a real easy thing to do. We give you a laminated sheet that tells you exactly what to say. It is so easy. Even the golfing guys can do it. You can do it. Second thing, put your yard signs back out. Okay, it is effective. If you need one, come to the country club. There are a bunch of signs there. Next one, I'm going to go door to door, engage with your property owners, talk to them. I've heard that, so Jerry and I were talking, Jerry Barron Jr., he's a new member of the board, and he was telling me that he had a conversation with a friend of his that had voted no. But after they talked about it, and the friend learned more about the 2020 plan, the gentleman said, I'm going to change my vote. I'm going to vote yes. Knowledge is the key. So talk to them. So many of these people have voted no so many times they're not even looking at the 2020 plan. Educate them. Respect their opinion. If they disagree, that's fine, but educate them. And the last thing is, I am seeing a tremendous amount of misinformation on Facebook. It is horrible. Okay? It is blatant lies in many cases. You got to, and we're trying to combat that. We're coming out with facts, and we're posting in our Facebook page. But we need you guys to rally in our defense and say, look, these are not factual statements. Okay? Here's the information. Whether you go for the increase or against it, base your decision on facts, not based upon Facebook lies. That's all I ask you. But most of all, on the way out, please sign up. That is the most effective thing that you can do. I appreciate it.
Thanks again, Tom. You can not only make copies, but we could make more copies available for you to be picked up at, just have them do it at the pro shop maybe?
Yeah.
Where, yes. All right, we gotta wrap it up fairly quick, but we'll get a couple.
Hypothetical case, if the naysayers don't vote, how many positive votes do we have to have?
Well, we have to take 50% no matter what.
And that would be 18,000 or something like that? Wow.
I would say this, you know, with the possibility, and hopefully you can all hear me. Hopefully I'm not blasting John out here. What we'd like to avoid to have to do is a third vote. Remember, if you go right now, the quorum is 50%, you have to have 51% vote in favor of it. If you go out with the exact same question, and the question would be 13-0, that's the question. If you go out with it again within 90 days, then the quorum drops from 50% down to 25%.
Is that our plan?
No, our plan is to get it, I'm tired of this voting. You know, and I'm very concerned, what my main concern right now is voter fatigue and the holidays. And that's my concern, is that we won't hit 50%, but if we get you, if everybody volunteers to do 1 hour, that's all I'm asking. You do 1 hour of volunteering or calling, I think we have a really good shot at making it. If we don't, we might have to go out again, which I really would rather not, but it's possible.
All right, one more.
Hi, folks. I'm glad the doors were open to let a no voter in, so I just wanted to say a couple of things. My observation here. By leaving the unimproved, the lot owners out of a fee increase seems to be discrimination against the people that are lot owners. I question its validity legally, because you're giving favoritism to half of the membership. What's never spoken about here this evening is that, yes, I live in Bella Vista. I've been here for 5 years. I came from Chiganistan. You might know that as Chicago. However, I use the facilities and I enjoy the facilities, and I was here before the facilities were already done. What's never mentioned here is the loss of money that continually is bleeding out of these facilities. This is never published. You have to go sniffing around and asking, but the restaurant, particularly this restaurant, is losing lots of money yearly, as the golf is losing lots of money yearly for various reasons, including having to constantly repair golf courses built in the floodplain. So I understand there's some numbers being kicked around online. Tom's very familiar with them, that there used to be millions of dollars in the reserves prior to Tom Judson coming and taking over and turning our facilities into wonderful, brand new, newly remodeled facilities that are losing money. We're supposed to be trying to break even here, and I know that in most corporations, when business is tough, people take salary cuts. So maybe we want to consider taking some salary cuts on some of the employees to help us through our difficult times. I voted no for the assessment increase because I don't like the way our money is being managed. I do use the facilities, like the facilities, and if we had some different leadership that was a little bit more clever and rewarded and performed based on performance, we might be doing better. That's my opinion, and I'm glad I got to speak, and thank you.